You know, it was a hard-fought game. I was proud of how we stuck in with it, especially when we started out and got down early. Could have flipped either way and stuck with it. So what we're looking for was our effort, and I think we're getting that. You know, we're working for wins, but I did feel like we played hard for 40 against a very good team.
When calls don't seem to be going your way, is it harder to play aggressively, or do you change the way you approach the game at all?
It's not for me. I don't necessarily change anything. I just can play my game and just kind of hope, you know, referees call it the right way, or, you know. But, you know, like I say, they're human. You know, they make mistakes. So I don't really, like, you know, think about it too much. But I definitely don't change how I play because of it.
Brandi, especially there in the second quarter, to be able to go on the run there, how much was the defense and just being able to get steals and kind of feed into your transition game helped you guys make the run there to close out that first half?
Defense is like a big part for us. Like, defense wins games. Like, we try not to focus so much on the offensive end and just kind of, like, you know, stream together a few stops and, you know, constantly stopping them from scoring, and then, you know, getting in transition and getting easy buckets. So I feel like, you know, defense is the most important part of the game. If we can put together, you know, stop or two, you know, 3-4 lead to a stream of stops and just kind of, you know, get easy buckets in transition.
You've had a couple of buzzer beaters go in against you this year. How nice was it to get that one there at the end of the first half to kind of feed into the momentum of what was kind of building there?
Yeah, it was a big shot. I mean, I was excited about it. You know, it's like any other shot, you know. Just put it up, and it went in.
Sarah, you had a great shooting night tonight. Did you feel that during warm-ups, like you'd be hot tonight?
Honestly, I didn't take as many shots before the game as I usually do. But, I mean, when I went out there, I took the open shots, and I took the shots that I knew that I could make in practice, and I do put in a lot of extra time, so it was nice to finally make the ball fall in the basket.
Attribute you bring to the team is your shooting, or do you think it's something else?
I think that I do a lot that you don't usually see on the court. I'm like a captain coming from a mid-major school. I think that's number one, most important for me. I'm trying to change a culture here, trying to create a winning culture, and I'm trying to do that for my coach, and we're trying to do that together, trying to be a team, stay together. And, I mean, I could have a good shooting night, but I know I do so much more than that.
Sarah, how did it feel to be able to hit those, you know, far shots against a strong defensive team tonight?
I mean, obviously it feels really good to make your shots. I didn't hesitate, and I was really confident tonight, and I think that's what led to that.
Kind of what you were talking about earlier, is it something that you've worked on a lot more, though, in practice, your outside shooting? You feel like that can be a threat for you because maybe people don't guard you as closely there?
I mean, after tearing my ACL last year, you can't really do a lot other than shoot. You know, can't work on my post moves, can't work on driving to the basket, you know, with only one leg. So I put in a lot of time shooting on the gun. Even when I got here, I couldn't play as soon as I thought I should, or I thought I would. But, you know, there's a lot of time that I take outside just shooting by myself. You know, if you put the work in, it'll come.
Anything else for players? Thank you, ladies.
That's good.
Okay, we'll open it up to questions for Coach Fahey.
Coach, kind of talking what I was talking with Brandi about that late run there in the second quarter. I know you've talked a lot about how defense kind of feeds into that. Is that what you kind of saw in that, being able to make the run there?
Yeah, well, I think that, you know, we break down every minute of every game we play, and I'll send out individual things, and a lot of it has to do with defense, not offense. You being in the right spots. I mean, Maryland has some big kids, and so, you know, we focused in on getting back on defense and boarding. And I thought, you know, we had lapses like any team, but I thought we stayed pretty solid. And that shot, the first thing I came in at halftime, it's about time it was our turn. And it was a momentum swinger for us.
Coach, where was Ariel Scott tonight?
Ariel turned her ankle 2 days ago. We made a game time decision about that. You know, we have to make sure we take care of the best interests of our players. And, you know, there was some discussion she might have been able to go, but, you know, like I said, their health is our first priority, so we held her back tonight.
And with her out, did you guys kind of talk to Sarah before the game and tell her she was going to be in more of a shooting role, or did that kind of just come naturally?
Yeah, I told her she better go 5 for 7 because I'm sorry. No, I just, I think that's natural. Like, injuries and things that happen during the course of the year. We don't talk. I mean, I care about every kid when they have. We've got like 3 or 4 kids that are battling stuff right now and getting back. But the reality of it is players just kind of pick up. That's a natural thing that teammates do for each other versus, kind of saying, hey, you have to pick it up. Shuey picked it up tonight, and that's kind of like next person up attitude, and that's what we try to have.
Coach, as you mentioned, Maryland has a lot of big players that can get boards, and I think they're top 10 in rebound margins. What goes into countering that size down low?
Well, we try to stay in a position type boxing versus a rotation type boxing. My initial thought was that we have to get taller, but we can't. You know what I mean? So there's an aspect of this. So we had to go with all team type strategy that would keep us in a position to create some type of bubble inside. If you start breaking down defensively, and that was our key, is not breaking down defensively, where people are countering, and then you don't have to maintain your defensive box out. That was our goal. I mean, we knew 1, boxing, 2, running, because they run really well, and 3, not executing in our half court offense, so that they couldn't just their live ball turnovers are 2 points really fast.
And Maryland seemed to get on the press, a full court press earlier in the game. Is that something they do often? And is there anything that you did to counter that later on?
Yeah, they that's kind of their bio. They'll take that on and off because they have such length on the top of it. I think their purpose was to draw the clock down. I could tell that, but you also have to take care of the ball well enough so that it doesn't you get too impatient. So we had to, my biggest thing tonight was playing like a team to beat a team that was, pretty tall. And I thought we did a lot of things right. We just couldn't quite hold on to it at the end.
Does this game just kind of unfortunately come down to just those 5 minutes there in the first quarter and the 5 minutes in the second quarter that made the difference? And what'd you kind of see from during that stretch that was able to get them that kind of lead there?
Yeah, I mean, we always can kind of pick those 5 minutes here and there. Obviously, the first half, 26-14. I think we're down 24 at one point. You can watch a lot of film and you can simulate a lot of things until you get out there and play somebody and you get to pick up the speed and what they're doing. They were shooting the ball pretty well at the beginning of the game, too. I mean, there wasn't a lot of missed threes. As the game in the fourth quarter, I think there wasn't any three, am I correct? But by those guys. And so, you come in with a game plan. I guess the biggest thing is what I wish we wouldn't get down so we could be at that position, not having to crawl back. But we're crawling back. The worst thing would be not doing that.
With Shewan coming in this season, how has her confidence and her shot built up since she's been here or since you've seen her play?
Sarah always could shoot the ball. I think getting used to playing after the ACL is something that I think as an individual player, that's tougher than you think because being hurt and going through that stuff, she's battled, and I was really pleased with her. She mentioned something I think that I don't want to overlook is what she's doing in our locker room. There's points on the board, but she came from a program that was in a Sweet 16, and she gets it. And changing what you're doing in the locker room and understanding what it takes in there. The one thing in the locker room you guys don't see that's changing is, you even watch our huddles today. Look at the kids, how they look. How when we did hit those shots, watch our bench. There's a different feel right now. We are wishing for a win, but we know wishing doesn't do anything. We got to make it happen, but there's a certain thing that she's giving that even with those points that you don't want to underestimate. That's helping us. Yeah, I was going to say somebody.
Coach, you're one win away from beating your 2018 record. What is it going to take down the stretch to get that 10th win?
Scoring more points than the other team. I don't mean to be sarcastic with that. What it takes is every day coming into practice. I told the team, when you start losing is when you stop getting better. When you start losing is when you stop trying. And we haven't. And I know we've been beat, but we're not losing. And that's two different things. So for us, when you're in the process of trying to change something, that's your next day focus. You know, you'll hear coaches say next play, next play, next play. You know, we're doing next play, next practice, next drill, next this. And eventually, if you keep doing that, you know, the scoreboard takes care of itself. So if you put the pressure on the team, like, you got to win. I mean, those kids that are just up here, they got it. We know we got to win. But we're trying to be the best we can be every time we step out. And then you got to look at yourself in the mirror. We got to ask ourselves, are we doing that? I believe the scoreboard will take care of itself when you take that approach. But adding pressure to players does not make any sense to me. They want to win, and they're putting that effort every day. So we may have been beat, but we're not losers.
Coach, are there things you saw in tonight's game that you want to see them continue to do down the road that will help you get there?
Yeah, our defensive chemistry is constantly getting better because there's a lot of intricacies to what we do that's just not, hey, go out and stop your player, because we have to play team defense. It's not an individual, hey, I'm going to stop you. And that is continuously progressing. And, you know, the reference to those little lapses where we kind of, you know, we throw the ball around a little bit, we try to keep reducing those. They were bigger numbers, longer spans of time. Now it's starting to shrink a little bit more. And putting that, you know, together, you know, I think if you even look when things go bad, if you looked at us X amount of games ago and looked at each other how we played, the chemistry between the players, you see, is just all that stuff is stuff that you piece together that makes us tougher. And we're still growing. We're not done yet. I wish we could keep playing and playing and playing. Hey, thanks you guys for all coming. Okay, go Illini.